Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Brevard Sports Network. Alan Slaughter-Zinski with you here, and I got to be honest with you. What we're going to be talking about tonight has me excited to no end. I absolutely love football, and I love the way that minor league semi-pro football is growing in this state. And I couldn't have been more thrilled about 6 months ago to get a text, a phone call, an email from our guest asking if Brevard Sports Network would be interested in broadcasting their games this year. Now, you know our ever-growing wish to expand into Central Florida, East Coast, and certainly this fits the bill. The phone call came from one John Chandler, owner of the Treasure Coast Bengals. They play down at Khalil Mack Stadium in Fort Pierce, and Brevard Sports Network will be bringing you live coverage all year of the Treasure Coast Bengals, and it kicks off right here tonight on BSN as we tell you all about the TC Bengals. And let me bring in the man that can do that for us. Please help me welcome, for the first time here on Brevard Sports Network, extremely excited to have him, Mr. John Chandler. Big Meech, how are you, sir?
Good. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Now, before we get started, I do want to let everybody know that tell us, well, let's start from this perspective, John. Tell everybody, this is the first year back for you guys. Kind of give us a history of the Treasure Coast Bengals, if you will.
Alrighty. The Bengals are formed about 12 years ago. There was an original semi-pro team in Fort Pierce called the Fort Pierce Fire. They were formed by Kenny Holmes. He played at University of Miami and NFL football. He's out of Vero Beach, Florida. They disbanded. One team, half the team went to Port St. Lucie and formed the Bobcats. The other half of the team went to Vero and formed the Florida Hurricanes, which my uncle actually started.
Wow.
So, I played for them. We played for them for a few years, did a couple of name changes, and he was burnt out, had some health issues, so I bought the team from him, turned it into the Bengals, and we've been rolling ever since. Now,
obviously, the pandemic has played an issue with all sports. How did it affect you? How did it affect the Bengals?
I believe it cost us a championship for one. We were right in the middle of our season.
Wow.
It just shut the season down. The parks wouldn't let anybody play anymore. Like, it was crazy. So we actually shut down that year. The following year, when everybody else came back, the participation wasn't at the level that I expected to be. I'm not going to put a product on the field that I feel like isn't good for the city or the fans. So we actually shut it down, and this is our first year back since then.
I'm excited. You play in the FCFL, the Florida Champions Football League. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but off the top of your head, you know how many teams are in this league?
I believe it's 12 or 14.
Yeah, I think, as I go through the list. And, of course, we are extremely familiar having, been a part of Space Coast program up here, the Daytona Beach Broncos, the South Florida Dolphins, the Outlaws, the Titans. And I tell you the thing that I really love the most about this, and one of the things I really love the most, is the absolute, and people are seeing up on the screen as they watch this, the logo. You got one bad. Who came up with that logo, man?
Actually, I have a logo person, Mr. Brian, that did that logo for me.
Now it all kicks off. What's today? Today, 3 days from now, here on Brevard Sports Network. Now, for those of you that can't make the game, we'll kick off with the pregame show at around 5:50. and then we'll do the game, and then afterwards, player interviews with our offense and defensive player of the game, and of course, we'll speak with the head coach. Who is the head coach of this team?
I'm the head coach.
All right, just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. All right, so Coach, after the game, we'll be chit-chatting with you and your offensive and defensive players of the game. What are your goals and expectations for the Bengals in season 1?
Nothing. Sky's the limit, man. We have a lot of returning veterans, and then we have mixed in a lot of young, hungry talent. And we don't expect anything less than a championship this year.
I think it's going to be fun to follow this team all year long. Who are some of the standout players? I hate to say standout, but who are some of the players that you're going to be relying on heavily, until you find that flow and that mix you're looking for?
A lot of our veteran players, defense. Our defense is full of veterans. We have probably one of the best defensive backs in the state of Florida. He's in the record books for the FFA,
Wow.
the old FFA. His name is Sean Forte. We have linebacker core. I believe we have the best linebacker core in the league, if not in Florida. That consists of Mike Brown, Torrey Howard, Rodney Matthew.
Uh-huh.
There's backups that our defense is so deep, honestly, that I feel like we could pull the whole starting defense off and put the whole second level on, and there's not much of a drop off at all.
That's an amazing thing to have.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're blessed this year. Like I said, we have a lot of new players. Like I said, local talent from our local high schools that have came and play for us. Offense, our quarterbacks. We have three quarterbacks. The top two are Donald Brown and Antoine Edgecombe. They're battling right now, I guess, to see, who the starter is going to be. And then wide receivers, we have speed and skill all over the field. Harold Miller, Speedy Knowles, Tommy Mitchell.
You literally have speed in Speedy Knowles, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. His name is Speedy Knowles. He's got speed.
Can't wait.
His highlights.
I can't wait to see it.
Our running back core, we have fast running backs, and then we have bruisers too. So, Tyrone Smith, Jamonte Hunter, he went to Vero Beach High School. He's well known. And then our O-line. I think this may be the best O-line and D-line that we've had ever. So, I think all know that starts everything. It starts at the line.
It's in the trenches, that's for sure. The battle up front here with John Chandler, head coach, owner of the TC Treasure Coast Bengals. Coming up, there you see it on your screen. The game information coming up on Saturday night, 6 o'clock. We'll be on the air at 5:50 with the Big Trouble Bail Bonds show. And we'll tell you about that coming up as well. But I can't wait to get down there, get set up. And because I can just hear me now, because I'll have nicknames for all these guys during the broadcast. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. And I tell you what, tell me a little bit about your opponent. Do you know anything about them? What can we expect from them, the Florida Cougars?
Honestly, we know nothing about this team. They used to be the what was the name of the team, man? They just changed their name to the Florida Cougars.
Gotcha.
They were, the name's stuck in my head right now. So really all we have is old film to watch on them.
Gotcha.
From what I know, they're supposed to have a fast running back and a decent quarterback. Other than that, I really don't know much about them.
Now, who would your rivals be? What's the rivalry games on the schedule? And there's the entire schedule up on the screen there for the season for everyone to see. So who would your rivals be per se? for Vero, Vero Beach and Treasure Coast when they get together from a high school perspective. But who are your rivals?
I would say in this league, our rivals are the Outlaws.
Oh yeah, okay, makes sense to me. Here with head coach Big Meech, they call him John Chandler, and coming up again, we are. If I seem overly excited, it's because I am, because it's just so great. This makes life seem normal again, John, doesn't it? I mean, after everything we've been through in the last couple of years, these are the things we used to do on Saturday nights, and this makes things feel normal again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does, man. And all the players, the coaches, myself, we're blessed. We're glad to be back on the field. We've had a few players pass away while we were away. Um, and even before then, we've lost some players due to different situations, whether it's
Wow.
just the streets or just life.
Jeez.
Um, but yeah, we're gonna play this whole season in remembrance of all our fallen players, and we're happy, we're excited, and we're ready to go.
Well, if at any point in time during the course of the year, during the broadcast, you want to put their pictures up, just get them to me, and we'll make that happen for you as well. All right. If I said to you, John, what is the brand of football that the Bengals play? What can, like, defensively, what do you do, and offensively, what do you do? What is the identity of this football team?
Defensively, I would say we're an aggressive, nasty ass defense.
Okay.
Offensively, we're a chameleon, bro. We'll change it up however we need to change it up. We can do power football. We can do spread football. We can go out the eye. We can do wildcat if we need to. We're a chameleon on offense.
I tell you what, I know the 49ers wish they'd have had that type of offense on Sunday. For sure, man. I kept expecting to see Debo Samuel go back there and play some sort of wildcat quarterback, but we never saw it happen. But what is the one thing, and I know that your level of, you and I have talked about the community. What do you want the community to know that they can expect from this team on and off the football field?
Well, in the past, the community knows us. We were heavily involved in the community. We've done marches against violence. We fed the. We have drive games. Boys Scots went that this year because we had a late start. But from this point on, we will get back to doing all of that. My players, I preach to them about being involved in the community, out of trouble, um, keeping their heads on straight, and then on the field, they can expect us to represent the city how we need to be represented.
I like that. You and I had a text conversation a couple of months ago about the knock on semi-pro football, minor league football, and some of the stigma that it carries in terms of some of the things we see on Saturday nights, and you were adamant that's just something that this program does not participate in.
No, our program has had, for the most part, we have had no problems.
Yeah,
We've never had any, brawls or anything like that at any of our games. Um, we there's certain rules set up within the league also
good.
that they're not allowing they're not allowing bags on the sidelines. That will stop the possibility of somebody actually carrying a gun out there and having it on the sideline. Um, in different cities, there's been a lot of different stuff happen.
Yeah, I've seen it up here in the Space Coast. So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, a lot of people try to give Fort Pierce like the big negative stigma, but
Nah.
there's a lot of good stuff in Fort Pierce, and we will. Our mission is to show that Fort Pierce is a good place to come have fun, watch a good football game, have a little bit of fun, and go home to your family.
Absolutely. And Khalil Mack Stadium, you know, I mean, first of all, I love the way Khalil Mack plays football, but Khalil Mack Stadium, that's a pretty good venue to play in there. How were you able to land that venue?
That stadium is actually our Pop Warner team stadium, the Fort Pierce Firehawks,
Gotcha.
who are nationally known. They won the national championship.
Yeah.
Khalil is in the city. I guess are in the process of totally redoing that area.
Uh huh.
So we were blessed to be able to play there. There's a bigger stadium in Fort Pierce called Longwood Stadium. That's where the high schools play. Unfortunately, it's just so much more expensive than the Pop Warner Field.
Now, I like this venue. I've been to this venue. I like this venue. It's cozy. It's nice. And so it'd be a lot of fun to get back down there. All right, as we get set to wrap up here, if I said to you, John, you got to sum up what your expectations, goals, and what this team is all about in one or two sentences, what would that be?
Expectations, like I mentioned before, I expect us to be a good product on the field and bring home a champion.
And go ahead.
The goals are the same, to bring home a championship and also to have some of these young guys notice and help them move on, possibly to XFL or the USFL or even.
I think that's another thing that's understated. I've been involved with some teams that have played in some of these leagues where they go on. I mean, and halfway through the year, I go, "Where's this player?" Well, they got signed by this team or that team, and so that is an absolute realistic goal. John, I can't thank you enough for having Brevard Sports Network be the carrier of the Treasure Coast Bengals. We're going to do you proud this year. We're going to do the community of Fort Pierce proud. And we look forward to coming down there and kicking things off on Saturday night again. Make sure you join us at 5:50 with the Big Trouble Bail Bonds pregame show. And for Coach John Chandler, owner, Big Meech, I'm Alan Slaughter-Zinski for the Brevard Sports Network.